And finally, this is easily my favourite B.A. Paris book with a 4.5 star is Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to Francesca's Books. My name is Francesca, these are my books, and here we talk about all things thriller books. Today we're going to dive into the backlist of B.A. Paris as part of my Author Spotlight series. Previous authors I've done are Frida McFadden, Riley Sager, Claire McIntosh and Alice Feeney, and if there's any other authors that spring to mind that you would like to know my ratings of, do let me know in the comments. But before we dive in, yes, I do have paint all over my hands. I literally cannot get off because I've been painting the new house. The new library is going to be up and ready soon, but it is like the least priority of moving in because I need to physically be able to, like, you know, sleep and eat there first. I mean, I know the books are important, but... So that is all work in progress, and as soon as I have the completed vlog, I will be first to share it with you guys. I am so excited for you to see like what I'm doing with the space. But without further ado, B.A. Paris. So this author has 7 books on her backlist, and while they are definitely thrillers, I think some of them border on suspense and on full-on psychological thriller, specifically the first one that we're going to talk about, which borders more even on contemporary. But just take what I'm saying with these ones with a little pinch of salt. So coming in at number 7 is The Dilemma, which I gave 2.5 stars. So this follows a woman who's throwing a 40th birthday party for herself with her entire life savings. Sums up the kind of person this FMC is. And then it also follows her husband, and they both basically have like a really big secret that they're trying to tell each other all night at this party and just can't get to it because they're both like really significant things. So basically going in, this is absolutely not what I expected, but I also kind of didn't hate it at the same time. So it's a contemporary story that follows a family who have a pretty tragic series of events, I won't lie, like it is a pretty dire situation. However, a lot of these problems, like 90% of these problems could have been solved by them just talking to each other. Basically. Instead, they just played this massive game of Chinese whispers. It just whispers all around this party all night, like, just come out and say it with your chest. It also was lacking a couple of plot twists. This is what I mean, this is why I don't think it counts as an actual through and through thriller. And when I was reading it, I did get a couple of people on Bookstagram being like, don't judge B.A. Paris by this book, like, this isn't really her, like, most significant book in terms of, like, how she actually writes. And I was like, yeah, that's fine, but... don't know, take from it what you will. Then coming in at number 6 is The Breakdown, which is a pretty popular one of her books. It follows a woman who's driving like late at night and she spots this broken down car on the side of the road and she decides not to stop and help them. So she gets home and then on the news the next day she hears that the person who was in that car has been unalived. And after that she basically just loses her mind. She's completely paranoid. There's some like really eerie phone calls and she's just losing the plot basically because she feels solely responsible for this unaliving. I really like the name of this book because it's like the breakdown of a car but also of our female main character having an absolute breakdown. Like it's a bit of a double meaning and I really quite enjoyed that. It was cleverly named. The plot was quite basic and the writing was quite simple, but that doesn't mean it was a bad book. I think it was a very easy to read book and a very easy to follow book. I feel like if you're at the start of your thriller reading journey, this book would be really good for you. Because I will say it did have a really good plot twist. Like I did quite enjoy the plot twist, but I got to the 70% mark still not really being invested. The last 30% was really good, but like not enough to pull it back higher than a 3 for me. And then coming in at number 5, also with 3 stars, is The Guest. This is actually B.A. Paris's latest book, so you would think that it would probably be higher on this list, but it's not. So this follows a couple who return from vacation and there is one of their friends just like living at their house and she's like, oh my god, I've broken up with my husband or boyfriend, I can't quite remember, and she's just like in a state and they're like, but still like, why are you at our house? Like, it's weird. This was a solid thriller. Again, like it wasn't a bad thriller. It was just nothing really mind-blowing. The characters in this as well were introduced really quickly. Like I struggled to get my head around a lot of them quickly. But I will say I did read this literally in a couple of days and there is no way you'd guess the ending of this. No way, it was one of those. Then coming in at number 4 is easily B.A. Paris's most popular book and the book she is most well known for, and it is Behind Closed Doors. So this follows a woman who's trapped, absolutely trapped in a marriage, both emotionally and physically. Like she physically cannot leave unless he says she can. And it follows her journey to escape this like almost captive husband situation, and she will do anything. She will literally do anything to escape. I did really like this. I think I gave it like a 3.5 when I first read it, but it's definitely more like a 4. It is a really good book. I think for me, there was just like a lack of a really big plot twist, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad book. I think I need to get my head away from a plot twist that I didn't guess, meaning a higher rating. Like it was a fantastic book. It was very fast paced. I absolutely flew through it and I'd probably liken it to like The Housemaid crossed with What Lies Between Us by John Mars. Like it was very claustrophobic vibes. I do actually think this was darker than those books. Definitely darker than The Housemaid. probably on a par with What Lies Between Us by John Marrs. So I would recommend it, gave it a 4, but like it wouldn't be like my, oh my god, you need to go read this right now kind of book. I did actually have the physical copy of this sat right there, but I was clearly too excited to talk about it. I forgot to show it, but here we go. Showcasing it. Then coming in at number 3, I know I definitely have a physical copy of this somewhere and I can't find it. Like I literally cannot find it. I don't know where it is. And I don't lend out my books, so I just don't know where it could possibly be. But anyway, it is The Therapist. It's got a red cover and a red spine, and I know it has. So why it's not sat here is beyond me. If you can see it anywhere on this shelf, like please comment. I'm scared I've lost it. So this follows married couple Alice and Leo, and they move to like a very gated, luxurious community called The Circle. They buy this house and they basically find out that there was some really booky stuff going on at this house before they bought it regarding like the therapist that used to live there, hence the name of the book. I personally think this book should be called The Circle, and I will die on a hill for this. Like, The Therapist is not the correct name for this book. It is kind of misleading as to the plot of the book, however. A moot point. So the wife of this couple basically sets on a journey to try and figure out like exactly what was going on at her house before she had it, because they're kind of just creeped out and they're getting like weird looks from the neighbours and they're struggling to make friends because of it and everything. I do actually really like B.A. Paris, although some of these books so far aren't ranked that highly. Like, you know exactly what you're going to get with this author, like rich mum drama basically and suburban problems. Like, you just know what you're going to get, and it's quite nice. I really liked the setting of this. Like, I could picture it so vividly, and I think that's quite rare for me with thriller books. Like, this was one of those where I really did genuinely feel like I was there. So it wasn't mind-blowing, but there was some really good twists and turns. Definitely enjoyed it. Easy 4-star. And then coming in at number 2 is the most recent B.A. Paris book I read, and it is The Prisoner. So this follows a woman who is kidnapped and she wakes up in like trapped in like a completely pitch black room, but she's like, do you know what, I actually feel safer here with my captor than I do with my husband. So this book opens in the best way following this synopsis that I've just given. However, I do again think that there's so much more to this book than The Prisoner. Like, this basement capture setting maybe only takes up a third of the book. I feel like there is so much more to this. Like, don't judge it based off that, if that makes sense. It is also told from dual point of view, and I loved this because I wasn't sure whether it was being told from 2 different people or 2 different timelines told by the same person. Like, it wasn't that clear at the beginning, and I love that because you're thinking, could it be this character? Could it be, like, I love it. That was a really big highlight for me. I did really enjoy this. Our FMC was a bit stupid, but given her background, you kind of understand it. But I feel like the plot twist is what let this down, and it wasn't that it was a bad plot twist, it was that it was poorly executed, in my opinion. This is a 4 because of that. This would have rated a lot higher if that plot twist would have been kind of better delivered. It was like over-explained, like took so many pages, but yet nothing was really making sense still. And if it takes like 15 pages to explain the plot twist, like it's not been plotted correctly, in my humble opinion. And finally, this is easily my favourite B.A. Paris book with a 4.5 star is Bring Me Back. And nobody talks about this. Literally no one. And do you want to know what the best part is? The only reason I actually read this was because one of you commented on a few of my videos every week being like, have you read Bring Me Back yet? Have you read Bring Me Back yet? And I was like, yeah, like I will. And I thought, do you know what? I'm actually just going to sit and read it purely because of this comment. And I am so glad I did. Like, 4.5, absolutely loved it. This follows a guy whose life completely unravels when his missing girlfriend of 12 years is reportedly seen. You're thinking, brilliant, oh my god, they're going to be reunited. No, he's made a life with her sister. Regrets. I had absolutely no expectation for this book, but Finn, our male main character, was just like the perfect unreliable narrator. It was a pure page turner, pretty incredible book. Definitely on the side of popcorn thriller, so do bear that in mind. There wasn't really like any super deep themes. It was just one of those books that like, it's a Saturday night, you're chilling out, you want something that you're probably going to read in an evening because you can't put it down. That's this, if that makes sense. Super explosive ending as well. So that is what I thought of all of B.A. Paris's books, ranked from least favourite to most favourite. Let me know which is your favourite B.A. Paris book, if any, or if you're new to this author, let me know where you're thinking of starting. And as I mentioned, if there's any other authors which you're dying to see the backlist of, I am working on John Marrs and I'm working on Lisa Jewell, so I appreciate they are very popular psychological thriller authors, but they will be coming. I'm just working on reading the rest of their books to start with. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you next time. Bye!